Over the last couple of months, I've been working on a book of poetry related to the coronavirus times. That phrase BC, before coronavirus or before COVID-19, is a kind of telling thing in itself. And I've been thinking a lot about the social distancing necessity that came into our lives and the way it created or exacerbated a sort of mind-body split in ourselves and in our relations with other people, and the whole sort of stage on which intimacy became a painful thing for us, particularly for those of us who have children and who are dealing with divided relationships and negotiating all those kind of difficulties of movement and just how to sort of connect and show affection. In any case, for me it most affected my abilities to be near my kids, particularly when I was sick myself. I was tested and I came out okay, but these things sort of feel like the tide ebbing and flowing, and there's no guarantee tomorrow that won't change, of course. I think we all feel this. We're all aware of our mortality in much more intense ways. I had a Keats quote come firing at me somewhat randomly, where he wrote a letter not long before he actually died, where he said, I feel like I'm living a posthumous existence. And I believe we all feel this to some greater or lesser extent. It can be a beautiful, heightening force, that sense of being more alive. But it can be something that obviously has its shadows as well. Anyway, this is from my upcoming poetry collection, Via Us, Poems from Inside the Corona. And this one's called Connection Blues. When you were connected, when touch was allowed, when to hold one another had a place in our lives without even thinking. When the streets were full of people and carelessness, and the coming of the night was a beckoning for entertainment. When you played the jam to remind you of youth a-burning, and read 5 bells again, all the way through to get that understanding time was something slipping away, away, away from you. When the twilight was a stream of silver like something you were swimming. When the phone booth was lit like a busted open museum. When your shadow struck a wall and waited for the night to disappear. When you were here and there, fathering, finding your children, when the particles of love that made you who you are were near and all around you, in the time of touching, when skin was best, a hand, a kiss, a shoulder, a neck, a brushing of the hair. There were no masks, the moon was as it was, and all who knew one another had a face, when the struggle to connect was not always easy, but not so ruled by space. When all of this was taken for granted, and now you have to wait, standing back and living against the virus, outside of chance, in the twilight blues of waving and simply watching, taking in the closeness from the strangeness of a calibrated distance.